Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem, performed this afternoon by Peter Griffin and his dirt bike.
Hey, this is Ryan Villapodi, and you're listening to DMXS Radio.
Everyone, welcome back to DMXS Radio. Thanks again for tuning in. Make sure you check out the recent podcast we dropped with Roger DeCoster, Justin Brayton, and Chad Reed. Those are on the server right now. And thanks to our sponsors who make all this possible. We appreciate you guys too. Dunlop Tires, the best tires in the business. Make sure you check out their new Geo Max line for all types of dirt, developed with the input of AMA Pro Racers. Run with the pros run, because they know and they will always be faster than you. Sorry about that. You guys probably suck. But back to you guys, and now it's time for the most famous cheer dad in the world, Travis Pastrana. What's up, Travis?
Hey, how you doing, bud?
Man, I'm doing awesome. Thank you for all of your worldly things that you do. You still have time for our shitty little podcast, and we've always appreciated that for all these years.
No, ever since you got run over by a vehicle and then continued on in the Baja 1000 for Nitro Circus, we're all in, man.
That's awesome, and we need to do a reunion, me, you, and Jim, and Tommy.
We really?
Yeah, and maybe the VW Bug class or something, just something even more random than the utility quad class.
That's 11. Do we have that in Nitro Cross now? It's been a huge hit.
I saw that.
They're loud and slow, but man, the carnage and chaos has been absolutely fantastic.
And that, no matter what you do, it seems that carnage and chaos follows you. So that would just be one other thing. But how are you doing as a human? How are Lindsay and Addie and Bristol doing? It seems like the kids are growing up like weeds and time's just flying by.
40 hit me hard, man, for sure. It's had a knee replacement, had, a little bit of complications, went back in, got drain plugs put in. And, I was hoping it's been since Christmas now. So it's been a while, and just, a lot of swelling, had it drained quite a few times now, just trying to get, keeping up with old Randy Richardson, there as a senior citizen. And, it's been a life well lived, but definitely, went with, Smagical and Nate Wessel and a bunch of our group, and got some stem cells and a couple of the joints. Honestly, nerve pain went away within a week, so I would have never. I would have said that's placebo effect, but starting to sleep through the nights again, and it's good. Actually, had a good talk with Ricky Johnson. I pulled out of one of the rallies earlier this year just because I was just in a lot of pain, not sleeping. Had I was gone for pretty much a month. Just kind of like usual, just booked too many fun gigs in a row. And man, I got to do better at being home for the kids, for the wife, and I got to get where I can sleep through the night. I'm miserable right now. And Ricky's like, yeah, man, I tell you, you're having a case of the cysteitis. Yeah. I have that from time to time, but it was cool. He had so much good advice, so I'm just kind of retiring, and his wrist and what he went through and what he wished he would have done different. It's cool to have, just so many heroes. Like you said, Roger DeCoster, just on the show, the show last week. And it's still guys that I look up to so much that reach out whenever they see some dumb post or me do something stupid or fun or whatever. So it's cool.
I was really touched by that intro to the stem cell video. You guys can check it out on the channel 199 with Travis and stuff. And this was kind of a serious one because you had some reflection and it's kind of, it was very honest when you talked about your daughter not asking you to leave and that close call you had with the tree at $130.
No, I mean, that's my job is to go $130 and come as close as possible to trees because if it's the fastest line, you got to go there.
But when you're in so much pain and your body's not, you basically you said you had to get fixed before you can do your job again. So explain that. Being with my dad, a Marine, and a lot of military and just friends that are just tough in general. To call in Sissy and say, look, I haven't been able to sleep through the night. I get up about every hour, every 2 hours and have to move around and, try not to kill the liver with ibuprofen and definitely not getting on anything else because just seen some downhill spirals with some friends on painkillers and that kind of stuff. I'm like, and it's not even, honestly, it doesn't even really help for the nerve pain to be perfectly honest. So I said, look, I gotta take a little time and I gotta figure out my body. I'm 40 years old. Things aren't healing the way they used to. I put a lot of Band-Aids on stuff and rode through a lot of stuff, raced through a lot of stuff, drove through a lot of stuff, and just said, I got to get to physical therapy consistently. So I took a month physical therapy every single day, dropped my kids off at school, picked them up, took them here, did a lot of things that, I was kind of missing. And I tell you what, I don't know what we're going to do for the rest of the season, but I jumped back in the rally car the last weekend and, it was just my retention of the notes was 100% better. I felt so much safer in the car and actually felt like I wasn't just thinking, just don't die. I was thinking, all right, let's go win this thing. So, I hate to be that guy, but I just feel like there's so many of my friends and usually I keep that kind of stuff quiet and say, okay, hey, get a hold of yourself, get your crap together and push on. But, talking to Rooftop, who was, one of my heroes in BMX and Wessel and just all of my close friends. And, I feel like a lot of them hit whatever it was, whether it was, 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, whatever year it was, they kind of got hit with, a lifetime of lived well. A lot of them went through a really dark time and it wasn't until they really, like Andy Bell said, he thought beer was a vitamin and he's like, all right, he didn't quit drinking, but he's like, okay, let me work on, so he went down, got $40,000 worth of stem cells. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it must be nice, but a lot of people will put that money into a car or house or eating out and Bell's like, dude, I physically was too hurt to do a push-up. My shoulder, my ankles, I couldn't walk. I couldn't hang with my kids. I couldn't do anything. He's like, so I invested in myself, went down and got stem cells. And he goes, within 3 months, he goes, I was back in the gym. I was making better decisions. I was making more money at work. I was doing, spending more time with my family. He's like, it was the greatest investment of my life. And I said, okay, so you know what? Let's try doing something. Cause right now I'm not the husband I want to be, the father I want to be, or the athlete I want to be. And, athlete, whatever, car driver, whatever we'll say athlete. You get to run that. Yes. So Andy Bell, and so he basically turned you onto this and watching this video. First of all, Andy's hair just I haven't seen him in years, and he just comes back just looking like a rock star. So he's still rocking some luscious locks, but it was good.
The story behind that?
Yeah.
So we went down to Jimmy Johnson's house. We both, Andy and I were in a, not like shaved head, but pretty low and tight, if you will, especially Andy. And Jimmy Johnson goes, hey, the 5 steps to becoming a NASCAR champion. This is back in 2012.
Yeah.
He goes, and the final step was that you had to have someone that's going to support you, someone that's not going to cut their hair, because we both got mullets cut in until I won a race.
Okay.
And then Andy went, and so that year, at the end of the year, he had a pretty big mullet. And he got one of his first big jobs with making commercials for Toyota, because they looked at everyone. Everyone had suit and ties. Yeah. And Andy comes walking in with just horrible mullet. Yeah. And they're like, we want you to make this video. Because it was like an action sports motorcycle Toyota video.
Yeah.
And he's like, forget it. I'm not, and I haven't won a NASCAR race ever. So, so he's still just running that excuse.
That is awesome. He looks great, but it's neat that a longtime friend like that for decades turned you onto this. And I basically did a bunch of research after, watching your video and just seeing, some of the success stories with this and stem cells. And so you basically, I know that, each one of you guys had a different therapy with that, but, it seems like it's worked for all of you guys. And it's good that the genesis from Andy, a longtime friend you can trust, and it started there.
Yeah, and look, it's going to react different for everyone, and we're not pitching anything or selling anything. But so even Cowboy Cerrone, he's on pretty much everything, I guess. But so I don't know how it probably wouldn't pass the AMA drug test, but they got basically peptides.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I've had tennis elbow for like 2 years, or maybe it's arthritis. I don't really know. They just kind of make excuse for that. Like even doing push-ups or pull-ups or just like my biggest thing is like, I can't work out. I'm too physically hurt to work out.
Right. And you're at the age now.
Around and all the guys that have been through everything. He's like, hey, look, they've got this, these peptides that it's called the Wolverine stack, and it'll heal you, not steroid, whatever. And again, I don't think that you would pass the AMA blood test. It's not a great thing.
Right.
It passes all the legal testing.
Uh-huh.
But in 2 weeks, probably 2 or 3 weeks, tennis elbow was gone. Arthritis stopped hurting. Was able to start doing squats again with not heavyweight or anything, but without 2 hours of warm up and hot tub and stuff. But they call it a Wolverine stack. It's 2 peptides they've kind of put together and basically get your body to heal itself 1/3 the amount of time. So I'm not one to promote anything outside of first you got to go with
conventional,
eat right, and you got to work out,
yeah,
and that's really simple. But if you can't physically work out because you're too broken to do it, that's why I started looking into some other stuff and talked to Cowboy Cerrone and that company called Transcend. They did a blood panel and they're like, look. So I even went down and did a concussion protocol, and they're like, hey, dude, your testosterone is lower than most 90-year-old women. That's what your body does. You hit your head hard enough, and it helps you to not hit your head again and says, mellow out, dude.
Yeah.
But it's hard to continue on doing the same levels that you're doing. So I just I hate to even promote or say anything, but I know there's going to be people out there that are in bad situations like most of my friends were. And it's like, okay, hey, look, there's stuff out there that if you can't do the physical therapy that you need to help you, I'm not talking about staying on stuff for life or doing anything that's illegal or any steroids or anything, but definitely get a blood panel and then check where your levels are and what you can do nutritionally to help you get back to a normal kind of levels, and to then hopefully help, the energy and then get the rest of your life back on track. I took 6 weeks off, and I feel really, really good. I am in the best spot that I've ever been. I mean, I'm in a great spot. Life is great, but just as far as, being able to function on the way that I need to, and to be able to play with my kids and hang out with my wife and, have friends, and starting Channel 199 on YouTube, and I want to do all this cool stuff. And I'm just like, man, I'm so broken. I can't do anything. So it's been a good month. And now I'm back, like I said, physical therapy every day, and it's actually working. So that's a really big step for me.
And the reflection as we age, 40s, sucked for me too. And I remember that. But when your daughter comes home and you have one day and she's like, you don't want to leave, and you have that close call with the tree. And then you talked about that, that rally driver, Mark Lovell, who said, I'm not feeling it, but I'm going to finish out the year. And then he goes out and doesn't, and that was pretty much his last words. And you use those things, you're using these lessons. We just lost Jo, and our friend Ron Meredith and Ken Block. And this is just a natural progression, Travis. You're basically, you're seeing all of these red flags, and where you blow by them in the past, you're recognizing them. And that's just the maturity of survival. Your brain is helping you, make it to the next step.
Yeah, no, just even hearing myself talk, I feel like my 20-year-old self would be like, dude, what are you doing, you sissy? And that's kind of
what RJ get out there. Yeah.
But he actually then stepped back and had a lot of, he's like, man, he's like, when I left the sport, he goes, I thought I was done and I hated everything about it. And he goes, then 2 years later, I'm like, hey, I'm healed. I'm back. And he's like, no one really took me back in. I lost my sponsor. I lost my everything. He's like, he's just been fighting to kind of, he's gone on to do some amazing things in off-road and trucks.
Yeah.
And, it's just, he's like, you got to retire in the correct way. Don't be like, I'm done, because he goes, you're going to go home. He goes, you probably can drink yourself to death.
Yeah,
like,
go crazy.
He's like, no. He's like, you're going to be so freaking bored. He's like, you think you want to be at every cheer competition, but you don't.
That's all. That's reality. That is so reality. Yeah.
No, so it's been awesome, and I just really want to thank everyone for all the support. And
yeah,
like I said, it's just the only reason I even put that stuff out there is like I just had so many friends. Yeah, I've lost quite a few friends as well that were too hurt to work out. They couldn't function. They couldn't do what they'd love to do. They lost their their livelihood in motocross or whatever it was.
Sure.
They're not there anymore, and they lost their friends in that friend group. And and even a lot of military guys, and talking to we have a bunch of guys always coming out here to Pastrana Land, kind of sharing their stories. I thought, you know what, it's worthwhile. So if you have a chance, if you're in pain or you're just in pain, maybe listen to that or watch that Channel 1 on YouTube clip. I don't like to talk about it too much, because if you're not in pain, this stuff doesn't make any sense.
Understood.
But losing, I had my life pillars, honestly, with Ron Meredith, like you said, the motorcycle crash. And then, Ken Block guided a lot of my, just not like a friend that I talk to every day, but someone that most of my business decisions kind of went through him. Like, Ken, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
What do you want to do with that? Or this Jim Connor, how do you propose we do it? And it's something that I never thought I'd be in that position, but I came back home, like you said, and when my daughter, when I was leaving for the race, and we just watched Jo.'s funeral, and Jo was one that really hit home, because he lived 3 doors down with my mother-in-law for a while, working on that triple backflip.
The kids knew him and everything.
Beth.
Yeah.
And the kids were with. And Jo always had time for the kids, which was just really cool. And when he passed, he was someone that was stronger than, and he was it just seemed like he was unhurtable. And it's like, you gotta take a step back and say, okay, what are we doing? Is it worth it? Is it where we want to be? And, Lindsay is, she's amazing, and she's gone from skating, my wife. Mm-hmm. Now she's coaches cheer. Yeah. At a level 2, like, so my kids are level 3, level 4. But she's getting into that world, and she was coaching an event in Richmond, Virginia, and my kids were in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was in Saudi Arabia. And one of my daughters, who was a flyer, broke her kneecap. Yeah. Not a big thing, but I'm like, how? Like, I feel like we're doing okay. We've had a great career. Like, why are we still spread out to where one of our kids were not even able to be with them? So it's, as a father and a 40-year-old now, I mean, life has changed a lot. It hit me hard at 40.
Yeah. That's all great stuff. So again, we'll move on, because we got lots to talk about. That Channel 199, the one on stem cells, just dropped within the last week or so. Make sure you check it out. The one thing is interesting. You talked about the brain fog. You talked about getting back in that rally car too, and with Reed barking orders at you. You said that felt better, which is good, because recall and having to process that stuff is everything in rally.
That's sleep. Sleep is when you're too hurt to sleep and you're too hurt to work out, life goes downhill really fast, and it kind of spirals.
Like daily.
So it was the daily. So it was good. I got I got back to where I was sleeping a couple hours a night, and sleeping. Now I've made it like the last week where I've basically made it through the night without having to wake up and reposition pillows and stretch. And nerve pain's just the worst, where just, kind of like your aches. It's not the end of the world. It's just, when you stop sleeping, you're not functioning on the top, mental level, and the clarity when you're 3 days into a rally and you've averaged 2 hours of sleep a night anyway on the rally, and you showed up already tired. It's just really easy to make a really big mistake. Mm-hmm. If you're coming over a blind crest with a 200-foot cliff on the outside, no guardrails and trees to ping pong off of all the way down,
you get one mistake. Yeah,
you don't get a mistake. It's in this sport, it's not a dangerous sport, but it's you got to be on.
It's unforgiving. I mean, it's definitely that's interesting. So it's good to get back in the car. I know, you guys make a great team, so it's good to hear that you'll be whatever the year is going to unfold for you. At least you're giving that a shot, and you feel better in the rally car.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm still on the fence to doing the rest of the season or not.
That's fine.
Actually, with Channel 199, we I got my buddies who always like every redneck American, they're like, I'm the best driver in the world. Give me a shot.
Yeah.
So we wanted to see if we could rally on a budget. So we got a car for like $8,000. That was an old WRX, and it was a rust bucket. And those guys, they worked their butts off and put a month of work into it, and got the car ready for another probably 10. So we're in about $20,000 into a vehicle, and going to go and they learned how to co-drive. They're going to Dirtfish. They went to Rally Ready. Yeah. And Reeves kind of taking them under their wing. So they're going to do the Ohio rally, which is the next round. It's just it's just been, so the Channel 199, just to take a step back. I know I never thought I'd be a YouTuber or want to have anything to do with that, but with, there's a lot of motocrossers over here. Like we do something with Jeff Cernick in Pleasure Valley, and we bring a bunch of kids over, and a lot of them learn how to do backflips, and we always have veterans over, and just, really trying to use Pastrana land as like the, best backyard playground, and build it kind of for everyone, where we got pump tracks, and we're just building a she shed for Lindsay, where she's got a half pipe that's going to go up here the next month or two. And, little go-kart tracks and supermoto. And I just really want to kind of open this place up to everyone. There's no point to have a great place that we never get to go or anything. And, the kids are loving it, and it's a great way for me to be with friends and family. So we've been kind of, just really building that up, and then, showing the world, because everyone's like, I get it all the time. Oh, it must be nice. It must be nice. But a lot of the stuff that's the most fun, it doesn't really cost a lot. I mean, you get pit bikes, you get slip and slides, you just need a tarp. And, it's like, for the most part, like we're showing what you can do. I mean, heck, my buddy just built a hovercraft out of 2 leaf blowers and plywood. And it worked. Of course. Dude, unbelievable. We almost killed Comb Over Steve for the 8th time that week.
Yeah. Well, to me, Channel 199 is like nonstop Nitro Circus video updates. I mean, it's just like you can't release videos every year. So this is like little just miniature Nitro Circus videos to me, because it's a bunch of shenanigans, potential for chaos and carnage. And it kind of gave me a little bit of anxiety, because when you're at your house, there's always the pressure to do stuff. I mean, you can't just say no, because then you just get shamed. So you see dudes, coming from the rafters doing wrestling shit, and then jumping jet boats. And it's just like, man, when you're there, don't think you can say no, because the peer pressure will get to you.
It does, but that camaraderie, Marcus Luttrell, Lone Survivor, we were doing a car race, and he was talking, and I was like, that sounds like hell. He goes, yeah, but when you're in hell with your friends, it's just where you want to be.
That's a great quote.
It stuck with me, because, Maryland, it could be hot, it could be whatever. You could be, welding something or building ramps or digging ditches. And I just want to be with my friends. I want to be with my kids. I want to be with my wife. I want to be able to share these experiences with other people that have lost, kind of that group, whether it's military or whether it's racing or whatever it is. And it's been a lot of fun. I'm still, like, everyone says you make money on YouTube. This so far has been BS. But if we can almost break even on having a lot of fun, I think it's worth it.
Watching the Prawn and the jet boat jump, I was literally thinking it was going to be a street bike Tommy over jump. That thing sounded, I just knew it was going to be so fast, and it almost was an over the pad jump.
He hit it about perfect. And then, dude, my tables is a running joke. They keep putting tables in case someone overjumps, like a WWE or whatever. Monday
it is wrestling,
wrestling. But the table, he broke the side of it, and it flew back into the. I'm like, you guys, the table's going to kill someone. And I've gone through like 30 tables, and that's we did. So it's kind of been just something we've been doing on the side. And this last month, I've been home. It's been like, all right, well, shoot, I'll go spend. I'll spend 6 hours a day at the shop while the kids are at school. Yeah. And, I do physical therapy, then hang out with the kids. I'm like, this is great. I bring the kids in to do it. So it's been this next month of stuff that's coming out on the channel should be a lot more like old school Nitro. And I tell you, I've never had more fun in my life. It's been really cool. Hopefully we just keep it mellow a little bit more mellow.
Well, the thing is, you got your kids out there, Lindsay's out there, which, and I know you give her tons of props, and she's, a hero to me and everybody else, putting up with you, first of all, and second,
that's first and foremost,
yes, for all these years, and then jumping that jet ski, landing with mud all over her face, and says, I have to go coach cheer and now go carpool. I mean, she literally is the glue that holds this whole thing, the shit show together.
So, so let me go back just a little bit on this. So there was Pastrana was doing a jet boat jump.
Yeah.
And then we had the Sea-Doo that was just down here that we were getting ready to get in the water. And
this is on land.
Banksy,
this is on land,
he actually
folks.
did a world's first. That'll be dropping next Thursday, which was freaking amazing.
Okay.
Good to see freestyle kind of progressing, and he's been awesome and just setting everything up. But so Banksy's like, hey, can I take your Sea-Doo? And I'm thinking, if any day, that's my personal watercraft.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sure. You go on. It shouldn't be. And I'm like, just don't go too far. Like if you go out like Pastrana did, you're going to destroy the bottom. I'm like,
fiberglass.
Don't do that. So he compensated the other way.
Came up short.
Tried to hit the gas on the takeoff, but it's a Sea-Doo and there's no water on the takeoff, so he didn't go anywhere. Almost breaks the thing coming up short on the bag. And Lindsay had just said, I'm middle of doing, physical therapy and really trying to get healthy and trying not to hurt myself. I said, I'm done. And I just walk around and grab the Sea-Doo, and Lindsay comes out. She's like, what?
Uh-oh.
Like before she had a chance to yell at me, I jump it and I landed and I'm like, look, it wasn't bad. She's like, it wasn't bad. That was so boring. She's like, that was the most anticlimactic thing I've ever seen. And just like ripping me a new one for doing it right.
Right in the middle of the, right in the middle of the bag.
It's so easy to get on the back.
So you guys do it, and she lands, and then I guess the entire day has gone by, so she has to get up and then be mom again. So she's got to coach and then go do carpool. But it was funny because you landed right in the middle, like perfect, probably your best landing ever in a bag, and she's like, "Nope, that sucked. We gotta ramp this up somehow."
That's why I love her. It's been fun. So I don't know. I definitely appreciate the call. I feel like this whole call has been me being a sissy, and I apologize. But man, at 40, I tell you, some of the greatest things that you'll learn in life is that the journey is where it is. And I'm trying to get back to those days of just doing things because you love it, not because you have to do it, not because, and to be the best in the world at anything. There's nothing better than holding that number one plate up. But man, everyone thinks they want to be a champion until they have a chance of being a champion. It's really hard. So the guys that, painful, hard, it takes determination, and that's what makes champions champions. Yeah. But it's not money or it's what you grew up with or, anything that anyone could give you. And I'm just like Supercross, motocross, you guys, it's a tough sport in the world, and definitely all my, applaud anyone that's been able to make it to the top at any time. But stepping back, the days that were the most fun are the days that we're trying to recreate now, where we're trying to get to the top and, riding just because we loved riding and, going out there every day and, driving because we love driving. So anyway, sorry.
That's the best advice. That's the kind of stuff that I love from you over the years. As we've done these for decades, is just watching you mature and progress and the realization and reflection and watching your kids grow up and then just seeing what the priorities in your life. Cause you could literally, if you wanted to, you could be gone every day of the year and find something to do. I mean, but your priority is your family. Your priority is, that core group and with your friends. I mean, that's where your happiness is because, dude, I tell people this, what you do with your helmet off will always be more important than what you do with the helmet on. And your legacy will be in the relationships and the love and all that stuff you build throughout your life. It's not going to be X Games titles, championships, promotions at work. When you're on your deathbed, it's going to be the legacy you leave with people.
I couldn't agree more from my perspective right now, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's funny because Lindsay, when I'm traveling a lot, I'm like, oh, well, I'm doing this for work. She's like, well, let's think about this. She's like, you're doing it because you love it. And I love every second of being on the road, but I love being home more.
Well, and you guys have definitely earned that. So I mean, I love to see it. And you guys, make sure you guys check out that channel 199. What am I? I'll just go some of these quotes. The offshore powerboat stuff, which to me, first of all, is insane. I mean, I'm just waiting for one of those things to nose in. But you being a throttle man, who would be dumb enough to get into a boat with you as the throttle man? And two, you turn into kind of a dick with that guy, telling him to shut up and drive.
Still friends.
Oh my God, dude! You said, what was that? Shut up and drive. I mean, you guys. I mean, you're stressing out your driver.
Hold up. So I was driving when COVID hit. Team Geico, which was the top.
The Geico boat,
200 horsepower quad turbo, 160 mile an hour offshore powerboat team.
Yeah.
Said, hey, we need an American driver because the finals, which there was an asterisk by that championship that year, but the world finals were in the U.S. And I stepped in and did a good enough job. They put me back in the next couple years and started racing against and with one of my best friends who his dad was Throttleman of the Year, like 5 years and like 8-time world champion and so on and so forth. So I've been around the sport a bit. But I didn't know anything about throttling, and I wanted to do a smaller boat, basically like taking the big cats, the 2,200 horsepower class 1
dual motors,
or like trophy trucks. We jumped in basically the kind of what we raced in Baja. We're like the stock UTV class where it just beats the crap out of you the whole time, and you're more scared for your life, but you're going really slow.
Yeah.
So I started throttling, and I picked Jim York. Who's going to live forever because it seemed like that would be good. But he grew up in the desert in Utah, where he had never really even been in a boat.
Seen an ocean. Yeah.
So me, who doesn't know how to throttle, and Jim, who doesn't know how to drive a boat.
Yeah.
And we're going, and our third race, Jim goes, all right, guy. Hey, he's like, we're going to win this race. We're going to be up there. We're going to go. We're no holds bars. And I'm like, all right, you sure? I'm like, we're probably going to submarine this thing for sure. We're going to flip. We're going to capsize. It's going to be bad. Yeah. He's like, as long as we're winning when we do it. And we made it to the first turn.
Yeah.
And we were actually on the outside because we qualified so poorly. And we were on the outside and we're in second going into turn 1. And to do that in these boats, you have to put it right on the edge where there's no control, where most of the boat's out of the water. Yeah. And every time it hits a wave, it hits you like Mike Tyson,
casing a jump.
Way up. Yeah. And he's got to control it. He's like, I don't like it. I was like, well, do you want to win? He's like, yeah. Then shut up and drive. This is what the other top drivers are doing. The wheelmen are making it happen.
Yeah. He literally looks like he is lost in a parking lot. The steering wheel's going both ways. You're going, go left, go right. And he's just, and I love when you said, shut up and drive. He said, good call. It's like, all right, I'm refocused. Let's get this done.
He actually knocked himself out one time, not completely out, but we hit a wave. That was my fault. I got us too loose and we hit a wave and we took a jump and somehow, I don't even know how his belt stretched so far that he hit his head on the steering wheel, but the in-boat footage showed clearly. So he does this and he just kind of starts going out in the ocean, like away from our next marker. I'm like, Jim, where are you going? Because we were second in that race. I was like, we're doing good. And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, it's like he's got the GPS navigation in front of us. I'm like, look, right there. He's like, okay.
Follow the line.
Race, he's like, did we race yet? I'm like, oh God.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's not ideal, but it's fun.
That's like that's hopping back on the behind a gate at a national after a first moto concussion. It's like I'm not gonna remember this.
Yeah, I'll just keep this to myself. But now that we know about concussions and stuff, not ideal. But Jim was Division I rugby, so he's taking some hits. He's solid. He's no problem.
You know what I realized though is every other thing. I mean, you're in control of pretty much, other than But what if your rally co-driver ever said to you during a race, "Shut up and drive"?
All the time.
Oh, okay.
Ree tells me all the time. She's like, drivers are meant to listen and to be spoken to and not to talk.
Okay. Yeah, because her cadence is right down. I mean, it's almost like a poem, a symphony to hear her cadence with stuff. And then when you talk, she has to either respond or that messes up her cadence.
Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that you hear when I'm joking around is either in testing where we kind of know the course.
Oh, okay.
Or I get yelled at after. So the team actually installed, I have a little button that's just a marker.
Yeah.
So they can check in the data, or on the camera footage basically when I hit the marker. So if I want to say that the corner was faster or slower, or anything that I want to change on the notes, especially if we're doing it another run, or even just to make the notes better for the next year. So I'll have like 6 or 7 markers per stage where I'll go back, look over the footage, and then we'll change the notes after. So we'll do another day or two of notes after our rallies to make sure that the next year we have the best notes going forward. So
I got you. Okay.
It's a lot of work, but which is fun. Like, that's what I didn't know about rally. Like, I would assume you just get in and drive, and I didn't really know much about it, but I'll tell you, the co-driver is really in control of that.
Yeah. Is that like a marriage though? I mean, you really have to like trust and get along with that person, like at an intimate level that's beyond, just like a normal, somebody on your race team.
Yeah. It was funny. My first co-driver, we got along pretty well. He's kind of a dick. He was just really, really smart, and he was awesome. Christian Edstrom, great dude. Yeah. Love the guy to death. But so this is a guy that, he was a collegiate quiz bowl national champion.
Okay.
Which is like Jeopardy smart.
Right.
Like one of those guys.
Weird qualification.
He made partner at like 26 at like, Deloitte and whatever. And he's like, I plan to have 50 million in the bank by the time I'm 50.
Right.
And that's working like part-time. He goes, I rally because it gives me a chance to win and lose. He goes, it's life and death, winning and losing. He's like, in the workforce, it's those words are said, but it's not,
for real.
You don't really win. Right. It's like you did. So he goes, that's why I rally. So he goes, and he didn't take a lot of crap, and it was great. But to my point, he was amazing at being a co-driver, and you don't necessarily have to be best friends with someone for them to be really, really good at their job. It's like, some people can't separate that from like someone that's a great boss or a good person or whatever. Yeah. Like, I got both in Ree. She's absolutely fantastic. And we do have I had a great relationship with all the co-drivers, but I'm just saying, like, what's interesting about it is you have to be able to know, like Christian, he was so smart. If I he's like, I could hear if you held your breath. He goes, if you held your breath, and you shouldn't be holding your breath, because he can hear basically my breathing through his intercoms. Yeah. He goes, I would know that I needed to repeat the note because you probably didn't get what was coming up. You know what I mean? So like, there's so many levels of learning each other, for sure. So it is a relationship, for sure. I guess it's better if you like the person too. So
when you race motocross or supercross, did you talk to yourself like that? Like, did you say, cuss yourself out or talk to yourself while you're racing? Like, shut up and drive, shut up and ride.
Yeah, I think when you're in the moment, the greatest part about motocross, or motorcycles in general, is you're kind of out there on your own.
That's it. Yeah. Your
mechanic's telling you stuff, but really you kind of know that already. You know what your gap is behind you, in front of you. I don't know. I always felt like I was very aware of surroundings out there, and it wasn't something that someone had to tell me. Every now and then, like, breathe was helpful, like on lap 2.
Yeah.
So you go hypoxic pretty quick, and that just made the rest of your 20 lap main event a lot harder when you're already at 200 heart rate on lap 2.
Yeah.
But for the most part, no. My biggest problem was the opposite. It's been good having a co-driver. Like, if we get behind on the stage or behind in the rally, and I start driving like I have to win this rally, the co-driver's like, hey, you're not actually making time. So we get to the end of the stage 2 or 3 when you're just pushing, like, reset, settle back in, and it's good to have that person. With motocross, I guess my self-talk was always just win. Yeah. Whatever it takes, we're going to make it happen. And that isn't always the best case for a championship.
And that's a good balance. So that works out good. Hey, your boy Kevin Windham is nominated for the Hall of Fame. We got to get that boy in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, without a doubt. Wait, he's not in the Hall of Fame yet?
No, that's what I said. Like, what are we doing as a sport when that man, without RC, Reed, and Dungy, he probably has 10 450 titles. I mean, this dude is a legend, decades of a legend.
Like Kurt Nicole, more seconds than anyone else. I'm sorry, that was bad. I love Kurt too. But Wyndham, he's the only one to win a 125 Supercross or a lights and a main of whatever you call it now.
Right, exactly.
I'm just going to go back to my day. He won a 125 Supercross championship East and a 250 Supercross on the West Coast that year,
right?
Which was really, really freaking cool. Right. I don't think anyone else has ever done that.
Yeah.
Besides being Motocross Nation's winner, such an icon for so many, and having he had the highest streak. With Luraco has the most races, Wyndham has to be up there.
Yeah, and it's just, for me, it's an overall, contribution to the sport. And if for nothing else, I mean, your acceptance speech was awesome. I even texted you instead. I watched it live on YouTube, and you killed it. But let's just have Kevin Wyndham get up here and entertain us with an acceptance speech. Just that will be worth the price of admission.
Oh, 100%. And it was, so good to see K-Dub, come back for Donations. Really saved my butt for sure, and was just awesome to have him there at 240 pounds, bearded man, just top 15 finish. You're like, come on, this is amazing. Still riding just ride the wheels right off that thing. And then, now he's in such good shape again. He's got he's just
training people,
with
right?
Track and everything else. It's just so good to see Kevin doing really well now.
Hey, his fat Forrest Gump picture is still his picture in my phone. I mean, I'm never getting rid of that. That's too good of a picture.
Just legend. That's the only thing you can say. Yeah. So he's. I would be shocked if he didn't get up, if he didn't make it in for sure. But hopefully he does. I know he'll get in eventually, without a doubt.
Yeah, that is unbelievable. Hey, I just missed you. We were announcing down there at Day in the Dirt, and we missed you because you were down giving fans mullet haircuts, which is just such a Travis thing to do.
Yes, that was fantastic. Well, that's what it started out as, and then I just did a really poor job and started giving bowl cuts and everything else. But so it was cool. All my friends were down there, and I had a press day in Miami. Which was the day before. I just came to one of the Day in the Dirt days, but I had the day off. So I was like, well, I can either fly home for 8 hours or drive up to see all my friends. So I had we were doing Nitro Cross, actually just announced down there, which has been really cool. Actually, with Dana White kind of taking over Nitro Cross and just having the support from him and what it's been able to open up. If we want something to happen, careful what you ask for, because
he's a promoter.
He can make it do it.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Well, getting back to the haircuts, I didn't see you, but we got to see the damn national treasure of a man, Hubert. He came up and ate all the free catering in the tower. But he said that some dude got pissed off at his free haircut from Travis Pastrana. Is that true?
Well, it was. I made a kid cry a little bit, which I felt really horrible. I was asking him what he wanted. He's like, whatever you want to do. And I kind of gave him a bowlet, like a bowl cut mullet. And he was good. He left, and then he kind of came back because there was an actual haircut person there, and he's like, "Could you help me?" Had a couple of tears in his eyes. So I did feel really bad about that one. But I feel like all in all, it was good. We gave some great Plessinger haircuts and a lot of mullets, and really felt like it's a memorable moment, positive or negative. It's your discretion.
I'm kind of surprised that there were that many people that didn't have mullets in Florida already. It's like that's the per capita is probably 80% of mullets in Florida, especially Central Florida.
Yeah, but I feel like for Bike Week, it's got to be between the Michigan Mafia and Wisconsin and even Pennsylvania, Maryland. I feel like it's mostly northeast even that goes down for that event.
Okay. Well, I just loved, I could not have been more surprised when Hubert came up and says he's down there giving haircuts. I'm like, what? And then of course and then Hubert said it was too hot and rough to ride. So he was just up there eating free tacos in the stand. But he's been with you. You look at the Channel 199 all the way back from decades. This is your guy. This is the basically the center core of Pastrana land, and you and everything is Hubert.
Everyone's favorite redneck. Let me go back to the beginning of this. So Steffi Bow,
I remember Steffi.
Steffi's mechanic, and so he came in between Binghamton and Steel City back, years and years ago. So a lot of the riders would come in usually before Buds, and then in between, or before High Point or Steel City, Binghamton. My house is not too far away from a lot of those national tracks.
Yeah.
So Hubert came with Steffi Bow, and we were filming that week. and everything that we broke, Hubert just started fixing.
Okay.
Like he didn't really want to, the conditions weren't right for him to ride. He doesn't necessarily love riding. He rides a bit.
Yeah.
But like you said, Dana Dirt, it's too rough, too hot, whatever. No, he's a fair weather rider.
Yeah.
He'll eat all the free buffets for sure. Cracker Barrel, the $2.99, all you can eat. He's all over that. But so Hubert showed up, and I was like, hey, we're doing something in 2 weeks. Can you come back? And then he just dropped Steffi's stuff off and drove straight back. And he was staying on the couch for probably about a month after that. And then just he moved up we had a guest bedroom, and he moved in there.
Oh, wow.
And so he's just pretty much, so he's got his own place in Tennessee. But we are always doing work around here, and I think he likes it. He's got a girlfriend now. Awesome girl from right down the road from here. So he's been 50% of his time is Maryland here in at the Pastrana shop. We got kind of like a barn dominium here. It's it's Hubert's house, man, for the summer, and then he goes and during the off season he builds tracks for a lot of the top pros and anyone who needs supercross tracks or whatnot. He works for Dirtworks on the side and does build some supercrosses and arena crosses and monster jams. Like Hubert's just all around. He does everything.
He is the Tim Toolman of Pastrana land for sure. Hey, Steffi Bao was a former professional women's motocrosser. She was from Italy, so I wish I would have heard those two communicate with the most rednecky accent.
There's no chance that they understood anything that each other were saying. None. Yeah. Especially like Hubert's become a lot more sophisticated since the beginning. But okay, so Stripper Josh is also so he was Hubert's best friend. Josh is the most outgoing person you've ever met in your life, and very personal. Hubert is kind of the opposite. Hubert just likes to work. Yeah. He's the best friend you could ever have, and he's always there for you. But he would rather be working any time of the day than just sitting around with.
He looks for work. He looks for work. Yeah,
he looks for stuff to fix, and it's just it's amazing. He's been, he makes life for me so good above and beyond. Like if he knows I'm coming down with the kids, he's got all the kids, the Can-Am 4-wheelers and the Traxxas and everything. He's just got them out and ready. Yeah, and I've been gone a lot, like I said, and when I come home, whether it's a Tuesday, Wednesday during the week, and, we get over here and everything's ready to go. And the kids I tell you what, he's been the best friend. And it's so cool to see, now with, he's kind of really stepping up with, he's, sponsored Can-Am athlete.
Okay.
Goes around different schools, giving kind of safety lectures on helmets, and he really found his own niche, and really so helpful with him and Nate Wessel on this YouTube channel. Yeah. They're currently out there with Piranha, Wessel, and Hubert are right now, literally, they're building a kids wind tunnel with the fans. They looked on YouTube on how to get wind to like what they needed to do to kind of make it pressurize itself. I'm a little nervous, but I'm picking up my kids here in about an hour, and we're going to bring them back to see if they fly in this perfectly safe redneck wind tunnel that Hubert and Nate Nino are designing.
Well, we know they already fly. They're cheerleading flyers, but this is a whole different level of propulsion.
Yeah, they do really well in the actual wind tunnel, like I fly. So I'm curious if it's going to be enough wind. I know it's not enough for us, my breath is 200 pounds, but
hey, when you did you get into the UFC fight from Day in the Dirt? When did you meet Trump?
So that was an interesting thing. Donald Trump was sitting right in front of me. Him, Ivanka, his grandkid, and Dana White. So they put me right behind Trump, and I didn't post. So I went and I got a picture with Trump and Dana in between the fights. He was super personable. And I just thought it was really neat because I went up like, "Hello, Mr. President. Yes, nice to meet you." And he goes, "Hello, Mr. President. I'm Travis Pastrana. Nice to meet you." And he goes, "I know who you are." And even if he lied to me, like I was like a former president of the United States said he knew who I was. So I posted that the next day, along with a few other photos from the fight and some of the other stuff that was going. And I got you wouldn't believe the amount of people that were like, oh, well, we'll never follow you again. We can't believe that you would bring up this hatred. I'm like, hey, for me, I'm so proud to be an American. Yeah. I am thankful for the opportunities to chase my dreams, and to have a former president of the United States say that he knew who I was. I thought that was worth mentioning. So I was, man, my dad was laughing. He goes, my dad thinks a little differently than most, but he goes, religion and politics, they're like fun dinner time conversations with your in-laws, but I can't imagine hating someone and saying they hope they die because of their political or religious beliefs. He's like, my God, these human beings, he's like, I wouldn't want them to follow you anyway if they have that strong of an opinion on this.
Oh, wow. I didn't know you got such backlash.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Well, I didn't know you got. So if any former president was in front of you, you're going to shake their hand. I mean, that's the thing. As an American, I mean, that's it's Trump was there. Biden would never be at a UFC fight. But if it was Obama, I mean, you still would have shaken their hand. It was the president that was in front of you.
Yeah, 100%. So that's it was interesting because anyway. But you found what's interesting also is that most. I'm going to stop talking politics, but
yeah, definitely
that was. Definitely stop right now while you're behind. But no, that's the thing. I'm very thankful for the opportunity to live in this country. And yeah, I mean, there's issues with everything, no matter how you see it. But try to focus on the positive and then do what we can. And if you don't like someone, don't elect them. It's as simple as that.
That's it. All right, we'll move on. But I wouldn't even have brought that up if I knew you had a bunch of shit for that. But anyway, so we'll move on. Can anybody stop Jet this summer?
Oh, outdoors.
Tomac's hurt. Webb's hurt. He went 45-0 last year, or whatever thousands of motos he won undefeated.
But let's take that into perspective. Rookie season, outdoors, first 450 season because he raced lights in the Supercross
before that.
And won every moto. Something that only James Stewart and Ricky Carmichael have ever been able to do before him.
Not as a rookie, yeah.
And as a rookie. And he did it, and still, so I ended up going to the Philly Supercross.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And I went because one of the guys that was, Nate Wessel, he's been helping from the very start of my career. Anytime we had a ramp that couldn't be built or a trick that couldn't be done, he came and he'd, pay his own way, sacrifice everything, work 20 hours a day on making stuff work that no one else would even help me with. And his daughters are big. One of his daughters is a big Jet fan, and one's a big Danger Boy fan. And I thought, you know what? I've literally had that weekend, first weekend off. My family's like, you're going to Supercross on your week off? Like, yeah. Because
to help him.
I thought it was so cool that for Nate, his daughters wanted to follow racing and motocross. And his youngest now is, he got her, just a 110, and she's so excited to ride because of the impact that those two specifically have had outside of the realm of
so many fans.
I just think
many
that's
fans.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, you there, buddy?
Yeah.
So they've brought just those. Two have brought in the Lawrence brothers and Deegan have brought in so many new freaking fans. It's definitely impressive.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Even out, so if you look at, there's so many people that are really great racers, but it's rare you find people that, and I think Brian Deegan, we butt heads a lot going up, but he helped build freestyle motocross.
Sure.
And I didn't realize it at the time, but he kind of, he's a very smart human being. And he's like, hey, we've got the young kind of goody two shoes, straight A student. He's like, I'm going to go the opposite direction. It's good versus evil.
Yeah.
And that built me up huge. It built freestyle up huge. It built himself up huge. And I think, he's done a really good job, in my opinion, with Danger Boy, because he's coming up and he's not afraid to send it. He's got that same fearless gene, and he works hard. Like Brian worked harder than anyone ever gave him credit for. Because Brian didn't want that image. He wanted the image of someone that just didn't try, didn't care. Like that was how he was making money. But Brian, even on the cars, I mean, he won X Games over Marcus Gronholm,
legit drivers,
was a two-time World Rally champion, and myself and Higgins and everybody. Kenner Faust, Deegan can drive, and it's cool to see that his daughter is in NASCAR, and NASCAR is tough. It's not easy, and she's struggling a little bit, but she's still racing at the top level. Mm-hmm. Like it or don't like it, she's doing really well. She's the top female out there in NASCAR right now. And you have a son that really takes, when he loses, he doesn't make excuses, and I freaking love that. He's got accountability. He's got attitude. He's cocky. He's everything that some people hate and some people love, but it's cool. People either watch him to see him win or watch him to see him lose.
Yeah, exactly. Love or hate, just like his dad.
Oh, sorry to me, but yeah, Jed has more of a positive kind of image other than whatever's going on that lasts with him and his. Yeah. So there's who's he battling with right now?
Anderson,
that's his brother.
Anderson.
What's that?
Anderson.
Yeah, Anderson. Sorry, my brain just went blank for a second. But no, but even that, like it's because people care, and it's hard to race. Like if you were to tell me during their prime that Chad Reed and Ricky Carmichael would ever voluntarily talk to one another after the champion, after racing, I would say no way. And those two are actually fairly close. Like we raced the LCQ league during COVID, and they're talking like buddy because they had such respect for each other, but they hated that the other person could beat them, and they did everything they could to make that person out to be the Antichrist. So they had more motivation to go beat them, and that's what you're going to get with competition. But I think Jet does a really good job of balancing everything, especially for his age. It's really cool to see, and he's just unbelievably talented.
RC,
and his brother, honestly, I think Hunter could, Jet seems to always be lucky, and Hunter seems to always be unlucky. Yeah, and I think you create your own luck to some extent, but I'd like to see. I bet Hunter's going to get up there, and I wouldn't be surprised if he won a championship or two along the way.
Yeah, he finished his momentum strong. Towards the end of the season, maybe he'll get into the outdoor nationals. But talking back to RC and Reed and Bubba, those press conferences that I used to cover, they were the most gnarly, tense. I mean, that was hate. I mean, that you can say whatever you want. I think Reed's even mentioned that it was hate back then. Did you hate Deegan? Did you was it behind the scenes? I know there's a personal perception you want to give out, but did you guys hate each other for real?
No, what was interesting? So I really didn't like some of the things that Deegan was saying, especially I'm 15 years old, and just the crap he's talking. I'm like, that's not even true. Yeah. But we went to Budds Creek, and I'm 14 or 15, and Deegan's racing as a privateer. And it wasn't until all of my friends, and especially their parents, went up to Deegan and said, "Hey, what do you think of Travis?" And I'm sure he's getting that all day long. Yeah, at 14, we were doing the freestyle stuff. It just started IFMA championships and whatnot. And he had nothing but positive things to say. And I think that really hit home. It's like, oh, he does have that respect. Yeah. You know what I mean? Despite what the image is or what he's saying on the TV, he was really good. He was always good to me, honestly.
So it was a lot of an act.
And when my mom would come up, he'd be like, "Hello, Miss Pastrana, how are you doing?" He was always super respectful.
That's good.
But I think I didn't do great because I didn't really hate anyone or anything. I raced because I love to ride. Yeah. And I love to jump, and I love to put on a show. Where Carmichael raced because he hated to lose. And I think, hate will probably get you further. I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah. I'm not saying it's the happiest route, but when you look at the greats, the GOATs,
Michael Jordan's, the people that people hated him even while they were on their team. I totally agree. Tiger Woods, all the people that are the top of this, they were all dicks at their prime. Let's face it.
Yes, I was on Team Suzuki with Carmichael, and he wouldn't allow me to be on the track the same time he was because he didn't want me learning off of what he was doing.
I know.
But I respected it. I didn't like it. I went and rode with Chad Reed, who just hated Carmichael so much that he let me on the Yamaha test track.
That's awesome. But that's, to me, I totally agree. If if that's your drive, if that's your motivation, it'll burn in your belly. I mean, there's definitely, and then Carmichael, looking back over his career, he regrets that. He says that, that was not the way to do it, but that's all that he knew. So it's good to hear that you were all about, it's not like you're going to grab Deegan's face like he did Anderson anyway. I mean, Deegan would whip your ass back then.
Yeah, he still would. Yeah, he's small. I got a good reach on him, though. I don't know.
Have you ever been in a fight? Have you ever even actually been in a fight?
No, the only time I would ever get in a fight is if all my buddies were fighting. I join. I'm pretty durable, despite my reputation of getting hurt all the time. But no. So I was Navy junior wrestling. I was actually undefeated as a Navy junior wrestler, not because I was any good, just because. Okay. I generally go for a double leg takedown the same time they would, and I had a harder head than most of my opponents.
If you went into the doctor's office and said, "How'd you break your arm?" and you said in a bar fight, you'd be like, "What? This anything but you for a bar fight? You could break an arm anyway, but never in a bar fight." Yeah,
but you got it. So Andy Bell, he just loved fighting, but he would laugh all the way. He never wanted to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
So he got in a brawl like probably once a month back in the day. People like to go get in. So I think if I hung out with Andy more when I was younger, like I didn't even have my first sip of alcohol until I was 22. So luckily I've missed most of Andy's heydays on that, and he was a little bit older than I was. But yeah, he just liked to fight. So I don't know. I feel like you got to jump in if your friend.
Oh yeah, you have to.
Your friend jumps in. I just luckily never had that situation. I'm too happy.
That's awesome. Hey, we'll give you the Dunlop 5 questions. Let you go pick up the girls from school. Dunlop, best tires in the business. Check them out on their socials at Ride Dunlop. Is Vince Freezy a witch?
Dude, I don't know. I feel like he gets a bad rap. So I'm gonna go no. He does. He's consistently wrong place at wrong time, and like I said, you make your own luck. But it's not that. He doesn't deserve quite the reputation that he's earned himself.
Dude, he takes people out and gets them penalized when he's not even on the track. I mean, he could be a witch. I mean, he could literally be a witch. All right, and this is a funny question because I sent you this video, and this is the funniest thing ever. Hammer had sent Ricardo the video. He was in London. It was when McAdoo's gear failed, and there was stuff that was not shown on TV. It was like legit stuff of his junk dangling. And I sent you a picture of that or a video of that, and you sent back, why?
Like, why would you send that to me?
Because
all my friends sent me this. I'm like, look, dude.
Travis, you of everybody have got to appreciate that this man picked up his bike like that and passed 6 or 7 people and finished Supercross race like that, because the TV didn't make it seem like that. So I was just filling you in. But the question is this: would you have picked your bike up like McAdoo, junk a flopping, and finished that race?
Yeah, but no. You know what? I'm just going to go with yes.
Hey, the Coster said the best one. He said he would have done that, but he wished it would have been warmer in the stadium that night.
So I was about to say almost the exact same thing. Like, I feel like he did himself justice. He did fine.
Yeah,
here's my point. That guy, but
I'm like, it's almost like the Jackson at the Super Bowl. Like, she did that on purpose. I'm thinking McAdoo's like, hey, I got this. I mean, I'm gonna up my legend status and do the Supercross porn star stuff right here because I've got this. I'm going to show everybody. So I agree. I mean, if you're like that, you pick up the bike and you finish.
Yes, 100%.
All right. Did you have any starting line rituals way back when?
Greg Schnell.
I remember. Yeah. Greg.
He jumped up and down and yelled and screamed, and it made everyone that was around him go the opposite direction. So whenever I was like a really important event, when I needed, like the only times that like when it was a mud race, or when everyone else was bummed out or like because it was hot or it was whatever, I would just start yelling like I was completely insane. And it's almost every single time I did that, I got the whole shot. And I didn't get a lot of whole shots.
Yeah.
So I think it gives you just that little bit of room. It wasn't really a ritual. It was just I really need this whole shot, so I'm going to scare everyone around me kind of thing.
Wow.
Like the final round, for example, of So it was Roncada and I. Roncada had a 1-point lead going into the final moto of, maybe we were dead tied, whatever it was. It was whoever won that race, that moto won. And I started talking crap to Roncada. And I was like, oh, watch out, I'm taking you. And he was yelling back that he was going to take me out and knock me down in the first turn. He's like, you won't even get to the first turn. And this is while the card's up. And the poor guy, I don't even know who it was. Whoever was in the middle of us, he didn't even take off. That came out. We both had room on that side of us. It was great.
That is hilarious. To me, it's like a urinal down on the starting gate. Like you don't talk to the dude next to you. Like it's funny how
dude, nobody does that.
Yeah.
So I mean, like one time I started yelling, "We are the youth of the nation." I don't even know why that song was just on, and Jerry McGrath was next to me, and he just goes, "Shut up!" The car goes sideways. So it's like I was stoked. I was like 18. I'm like, Jeremy just yelled, "Shut up!" I'm like, cool.
He knows who I am. He told me to shut up. Hey, how big was that jump that you jumped over Roncada in the Des Nations? Was that a big hit?
It was just as fast as the bike would go off the top. You flew a long way down the hill. So it evidently made an impression because Tom Paget said they named it whatever the French word is for Pastrana Hill. Which was kind of cool because anyway. But yeah, it was everyone else kind of landed before like this. Yeah. All the braking bumps started, and I just jumped into the braking bumps.
Yeah. So for a 125, that was a hit. That was a big hit.
No, it was just that it landed a bunch of braking bumps.
Okay, yeah. So it wasn't like I mean, obviously the photo optics were awesome of it, but that kind of.
I mean, it was 110 feet or so to where I was landing. Like it was a good little.
That's a good hit. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't Larocco's Leap or anything.
All right, what you've got a bunch of tattoos. Do you regret any of your tattoos?
No, actually, okay. Every tattoo's got a pretty good. I mean, I'm looking right now at my leg. So I've got my oldest daughter drew she drew it on there. And she was 7 at the time. So my youngest daughter, I let her draw hers when she turned 7. And so I got a crab jumping on a trampoline. You can't really tell what it is. Okay. And a cat watching a television that take up most of my left leg that my daughter's drew. And I giggle pretty much every time I look down.
That is awesome because that makes total sense because I've seen that, that famous, leg shot of your knee. And I'm like, what are those tattoos? It's like a bunch of refrigerator magnets just flung in a refrigerator.
Yeah. My wife calls it my charm bracelet. So everybody on Nitro, basically that crew, if someone gets a tattoo of you, you got to get a tattoo of them.
Oh, gotcha.
But you have to give it yourself. So my whole leg is pretty much tattooed by my friends.
So it's prison tattoos. Yeah,
pretty much. They're all pretty bad. There's a couple artists in there, and some of them, my buddy, Big Island.
Yeah.
Big guy not actually from the Big Island, but from Hawaii.
Yeah.
He was a great mountain biker and actually judged for X Games and stuff. But he's a great tattoo artist, and he did at least some of the designs for the leg tattoos.
All right. Well, Travis, I know you've got to get going to do carpool with the kids. I'm so glad you've got that quality time at home with them, and you seem like it's like a rejuvenation for you. And I know hitting 40 sucks, and man, I'm just glad you're on the other side of that, and we can't wait to see what you've got with Channel 199 and the future. And again, thank you for I try to hit you up maybe once a year because I know you've got so much going on, but you always hit me back. You always show up. That means more to me than you'll ever know. So thank you.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on the show and always being awesome. Sorry to everyone that's actually still listening to this after the first couple minutes of. I feel like it was it's such a negative thing, but I just wanted to get it out there on the channel to be like, hey, look, there's probably some people that, like I said, I've lost some friends, gone down the wrong route with painkillers and thought there was no way out of pain, and like even my dad a couple of years ago, he was like, look, if I take my life, it's not because I didn't love you guys or whatever.
In pain.
I'm just in too much pain.
Yeah.
And there's ways that'll help and there's nothing that'll make up for working out and health and all that stuff. But anyway, thanks for listening, and look forward to talking to you next year.
Hey, it means a lot, Travis, coming from you. So for you to say that out loud, believe me, it means a lot. So that was of all the videos on there, that was my favorite for many reasons, and that's the one. So man, thank you, brother, and we'll catch up in 2025.
Talk to you then.
Thanks, Travis. Bye, buddy. All right, there we go, Travis Pastrana. Wow, that hour flew by. Just an amazing guest and just always a fun interview. And hopefully we do get to do the Baja 1000 again in some old man class or some crazy way that we can do that. But again, thank you guys for listening, and make sure you check out our pods with we got DeCoster and Brayton, and I got Will Hahn here in a few minutes, and we had Chad Reed on. So catching back up with some podcasts. I know we do some kind of intermittent, but we appreciate you guys tuning back in. Thanks to our sponsors, RacerX, MX Sports, W Wheels, OGO Concept 2 Rowers, and of course the great folks there at Dunlop, especially the new GeoX line for all types of dirt developed with the input of AMA Pro Racers. Run with the pros run because they know, and they will be faster than you. I'm sorry that I have to break that stuff to you. Putting new tires on your bike is not going to make you as fast as Ken Roczen, but you at least know that is going to be the strongest point on your bike, is the thing that touches the dirt. So DMXS, thank you guys for checking in, and I'm about to hang this up and then go talk to Will Hahn. So we'll be back when we're back. DMXS.
You got a helmet? Oh, I've got a helmet. I got a beauty.
The Dead Motocrosser Society.
You listen to us because we are motorcycle guys. You might even call us gurus. We are awesome.
I've been called a lot worse than that, Kevin Kelly.
Yeah, we're the guys. We know everything. I know everything about you. I know everything about movies. I know everything about the space shuttle launches and the crashes. Everything.
And because you turn to us for motorcycle knowledge, we only tell you about what's the best, Kevin, because our spotless reputation that we've built for 16 years is on the line. That's why.
Yeah, and I would not risk my crappy reputation on just anybody. That's why we are telling you about Dunlop tires. It's what we have on our bikes. I have a fleet of motorcycles, and they all have fresh, crispy Dunlops on them. If the pros have them, you know us amateurs are going to have them. They're good enough for them. They got to think they're good enough for us dorks.
Too good for Dunlops, you're a tire snob. We want nothing to do with you.
Yeah, good luck with that. But not just the pros use them. Everyday riders agree, and they have the testing to back it up. You can't beat the quality of Dunlop motorcycle tires.
Let's wrap this bad boy up, Kevin. Whether you're on the dirt, the road, or the track, you can depend on Dunlop. To learn more about their products, visit DunlopMotorcycleTires.com or your local pro dealer. The amateur guys are working their way up. Go to a Dunlop pro dealer. Check them out. We love them. You will too.
Get ready, America, because WUSA is your #1 source for quality wheel sets in America. WUSA offers all the top brands that you and the world's best racers know and trust, like Reed, Dungey, Millsaps, Tickle, Sealy, Short, and more. All rely and trust WUSA, because all our wheels are built right in our shop in Orange, California. And if you wanted custom made for your bike, like the world's best freestyle riders, Renner, Deegan, Adams, Madison, Mason, Sherwood, and others, you can choose different spoke and nipple colors for a completely custom look that'll dazzle you. Off-road riding, WUSA can build you wheels for the absolute toughest of conditions. And W also offers DID and Excel rims, along with OEM replacement spoke and nipple kits for your stock hubs. Need brakes? W offers the industry's best oversized and standard brake kits from Galfer and Brembo. Just see your local dealer or visit us at WUSA.com. Hey, you can also download the most current W catalog from the iTunes App Store. WUSA, DUBYA USA. It doesn't get any better than us.